This is your reminder to celebrate your victories and to no longer put off the things that you want to do to better yourself or better your business, but you've been writing it down as your to do, but then it gets pushed to tomorrow, or it gets pushed to next week, or it gets pushed to next month. Let's take those steps to do it now. And I say this because I've seen victories and wins for myself by me finally doing what I've put off doing. So let me get into it and share what I mean by that. So my biggest one is that I used to sell my book on Amazon, on Ingram Spark, and other places for $8.50. And I would go to these open mics and other events, and people were selling their poetry books for $15 to $20. For my collection, I do still feel like that's too high, but I realized the price I had, $8.50, way too low. And so, but at events, because it was a signed copy, I would say like it's $10 because I was giving a bookmark and signing it. I would say it's $10. But I realized that should be the actual price for my poetry book on all platforms when you find it online. It should be $10. So I raised my book price to $10. And it's not like I saw a bunch of sales, but I got a sale from my website because my actual price became $10. That means online for a signed copy and a free bookmark, that raises to $11.50, $11.49. But I got a sale. And it just felt like the quickness of the sale. I wouldn't say it was the next day, but it was within like 7 days. And it felt like it was an alignment saying, this is the price it should be. And my boyfriend and I were talking about how like I just need to do it. And I've had this idea since last year. I was like, I should raise the price. But did I? No. But I finally did in April. And I'm grateful that I did, because a lot of creatives tell you, especially for like art, but any creative work, make sure you are pricing correctly. And I still want my business, I always equivalent it to like Ross, Forever 21, which I know is going through it right now, but and other businesses that are more affordable. I want my books to be affordable, but they also have to match the market. And so $10 felt right. My novel, I believe that is priced right. It's $14.99, and most novels are between like 15 and 18. Some do reach $19.99, but 15 and 18, and basically mine's $14.99 round up is $15. So that makes sense, and I feel like I priced that correctly. But my poetry collection, I did not. And it's because of the page length. The page length is under, I believe, 80 pages. And so that's why I was like, oh, it should be under $10. But the quality of the work still means it should be priced correctly for the value. And so that was something I was neglecting. Also, it was my first published book, so I was still learning a lot. But I'm glad I raised the prices. And then now me switching over to victories. A victory is that my book, or both my books actually, are in a bookstore. Yeah, and I got to sign them. I do have a video out if you want to watch the video. But yay, and that's an amazing victory, so I just want to hug myself. And give that thanks and that happiness towards me, towards God, towards my family, towards my partner, towards my friends, that those have helped me along the way, but also that I'm still putting in the work, and that is cool to see this progress and see this step, and that I have to acknowledge the steps, no matter how small, no matter how medium-sized, no matter how big, to acknowledge it, to remind myself to keep going. It helps me get excited to keep going. Even comments, just having messages or even sometimes people buy my book on my website, but they give me a message. Like recently, someone said, I am proud of you for me publishing my poetry book and just continuing my journey. And that made me smile. So just to hear any comments, any encouragements, that makes me smile. And that also helps me along my journey. Other things I want to give, like, yay for victories, is having fun with my poetry classes. So if you don't know, I post like May poetry class, April poetry class, and so on, videos on YouTube. And so basically it's me sharing a snippet of a poem from my poetry collection, Stay at Home Calls for Poetry. And then there's also me sharing other poems that maybe I discovered that month or that week that just stood out to me, and I wanted to have a discussion about it, like a poetry class, but it's shorter. It may be 30 minutes or 16 minutes of long of a video. And so it's been fun for me. And I didn't know how other people would enjoy it, but I was just having fun. And I liked calling it like May poetry class with Desiree. I liked calling it that and continuing it. And it was more for myself after a while because no one buys my calendar. And that's okay because I enjoyed that process. And when I first started, because I started making the calendar either in 2024 or 2023, and it was definitely just for myself in a learning process the first time I made it. But this year I did try to make it and also connect it with my viewers, my readers, but it still didn't work, and that's okay because sometimes I jump on shiny object distraction where I get distracted by, ooh, I can make a calendar, that sounds cool, but that doesn't mean that's what I should be doing. I should be, writing my books or marketing my books or editing a video or just taking notes to figure out what steps I could be taking for my business. So yeah, but in the distraction, I found something that works for me, which is these poetry classes, and I've been having fun. And then this recent video or this recent class that I posted, it got a lot of comments related to the poems and just the enjoyment of watching the video and having the discussion about the poems, and that made me happy because going in the direction I wanted for it but didn't push for. And so that's awesome. So yeah, that's a victory for me. And so yay. And then yeah, so another victory, which is kind of like that happened last week. Basically, I knew I wanted to record 2 videos before my partner got home, but I was like, not being lazy, but I was putting it off, then remembering to do it, putting it off, then remembering to do it. But I did sit down and do it before he got home, which is great because if I tried to do it while he was home, I probably would have got distracted just wanting to see like how his day was and stuff. Or 2, I wanted to spend time with him, but I couldn't because I still had these videos to record. But luckily, I recorded it before he got home so that, they were already ready, already filmed. So I was able to just enjoy that time with him and then edit the next day and not have procrastinated when I had the opportunity to do it. It's like the same with today. I work from home some days and he works in the office. So he's in the office right now. I'm recording this video. And so that works. So yeah, that's a victory. But along with that, it's the victory itself of me recording, making a poem for his art piece. So he created that art piece in college. It's not finished, but something about it kept interesting me that I wanted to write a poem about it, and I finally did because I do a Write With Me. I also do that playlist series on YouTube, and so I finally recorded that video, and so that made me happy. And so basically I'm just sharing this video to share the things that either made me happy, that counted as a win, or allowed me to keep going. for my business. So yeah, another victory is that I was able to afford ordering more copies of my novel and more copies of my poetry book. I have been struggling for months to have the money to afford ordering more copies of my novel. And luckily in the last month, I was able to, and also I ordered more at the beginning of this month because I couldn't afford like more than 11. And then beginning of this month, I was able to afford to buy a little bit more, so I did again. So yeah, I'm grateful for ordering author copies of my books. I'm grateful for you being here and enjoying my channel and watching me grow and do my author journey. Yeah. Let me know any of your victories for just today, for this week, for this month, for this year. Remember your victories. Remember those things you're putting off. Do it. Just do a little bit. Just a little bit. Alrighty. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget, just write. Write your story. And take care.